Nicki Minaj is an extremely polarizing figure. Either you love her or you hate her. Despite being trenched in controversy after controversy, Nicki has been able to maintain her career and the public's fascination with her. I mean, her most recent single, Super Freaky Girl, is probably one of her biggest hits to date. Even after the amount of times the public has quote-unquote cancelled Nicki Minaj, we still just can't get enough of her. And I think that speaks a lot about Nicki's talent as a rapper, as a songwriter, and overall ability to keep the general public in her grasp. And though obviously Nicki isn't perfect and she does have some part of blame as to why she is so polarizing, I still think a big portion as to why people are so split towards her is because Nicki is misunderstood, and most of the times, the public chooses to misunderstand Nicki. So in this video, let's actually try to understand Nicki and explore why Nicki Minaj is such a polarizing figure.
Disclaimer: if you don't know by now, I'm a big Barb. I'm a huge Nicki Minaj fan, so I'm going to be biased towards Nicki, but I feel like the fact that I do know Nicki so well might help you gain a new perspective on her, and maybe even evaluate how you guys scrutinize women in general, so take that as you will.
You're not going to get the song the first time you hear it. After the second and third time, you're going to be like, whoa, what is this? It sounds nothing like anything that's out right now.
Nicki Minaj officially entered the mainstream in 2010, instantly making herself one of the most recognizable names in the world. But with fame obviously comes scrutiny. And even as Nicki dominated the music industry with countless hits and memorable features, she was still hated on by a big portion of the public. People were saying her lyrics don't make sense, she's so weird, she only talks about sex, she's a downfall of popular music, she's teaching women to be strippers. It's all completely ridiculous, especially in hindsight considering Nicki, compared to some female rappers and just musicians in general right now, there is no competition. Nicki is one of a kind. She is one of the best lyricists that we have and one of the best rappers in terms of flow, versatility, and punchlines. Nicki is serious about being a musician and prides herself in being a talented one. But that's not what people mainly saw. They just saw the kooky rapper with the crazy egos and facial expressions, crazy wigs, makeups, outfits, and the big butt, which in retrospect wasn't even that big compared to the BBL girlies that we have now. Like, it was actually proportionate to her frame. But the sad part is a majority of people in the world, not just the internet, an important distinction, only sees Nicki Minaj as this caricature. And I think this is a big oversight in the Nicki is polarizing debate.
Sometimes we put a magnifying glass on who we focus when creating discussions, specifically about pop culture and celebrities, and we often forget that Twitter or Instagram or even Facebook is not really the general public. I and a lot of people use the word general public when we're really talking about mostly online communities and people in social media sites. We often leave out the general public, like people not even in social medias or the internet at all. And I think that's the bigger conversation of Nicki being polarizing, because especially back in the 2010s, it was a polarizing topic of whether Nicki was even a talented musician or not. I feel like this plays into the belief of many people still to this day that hip-hop is not a respectable music genre and it doesn't take that much talent to produce hip-hop music. Obviously, this is rooted deep in racism, and to deny Nicki the recognition for her talent is just insane because she's Nicki Minaj. No other rap girl can dominate with pop hits one minute, then hard-hitting rap bops the next so effortlessly.
When Nicki was rising to fame, we know that she was coming up with these crazy personas, crazy expressions, crazy theatrics, and that version of Nicki is the one that got stuck in people's heads. And though Nicki tried to pivot into a more natural aesthetic in persona in 2013 to 2014, her Roman alter ego from 2010 to 2012 still reigned supreme in the public's collective memory of Nicki Minaj.
This camp personality, though very much accepted and loved by most of 2023 internet, the gays and the barbs, we love camp. And that's mother right there. But this is still very much confusing to the 45-year-old Joe that, unlike me who sees mother serving, he might see a girl in a ridiculous outfit making crazy eyes, shouting and spazzing at a morning talk show. Eventually, as time passes, I do think attitudes towards Nicki's talent will shift, as it has already from her debut to now. It's really just a lot of the people unaccounted for that's not on the internet and Twitter and social medias that really think like this. Because the majority of the internet does agree that Nicki is one of the greatest artists of the 2010s decade. What the internet doesn't agree on, however, about Nicki Minaj is whether she's even likable or not.
It's an Easter egg hunt. Sorry.
I feel like this is what a lot of people looked forward to when clicking on this video. When I say Nicki Minaj is polarizing, you probably think of her multiple controversies, the way she handles problems, the way she speaks her mind, compared to the great music, great memes, and overall pop culture material that Nicki Minaj has lended us over the years. It's hard to choose which to focus on, especially when Nicki's online. The common consensus is that Nicki is unlikable. So unlikable that her sound bites, music, and overall image has been the foundation of memes and trends on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You know, that sort of stuff.
A lot of people take issue with Nicki's personality as a whole, branding it as brash, loud, crude, vulgar, and drama. There's just so much drama with Nicki. This specific narrative on Nicki's personality definitely started on 2017 with Remy Ma's second best hit, Sheather, the first being Bullet Burns. And this was a result of the Nicki hate train. Though there were whispers of this before 2017, just look at the reaction to Nicki's "Miley was good" VMA moment. It was really in 2017 when people started getting sick of Nicki Minaj and her antics. This carried on to 2018 where Nicki was at her most hated and most vocal. And her being vocal really put a damper on her reputation, and people labeled her as unnecessarily causing drama. This has been the case up to now, with her recent Lotto feud being a perfect example. I already created the video talking about the feud, but it really still boggles me how people made this Nicki's fault when Lotto had no actual basis for her claims. In fact, she was even recently caught lying because Big Energy's reference track was released and it was a man rapping it.
I think analyzing the type of controversies Nicki has been in will really help us identify why Nicki Minaj is considered polarizing and whether any of it actually holds up. I feel like there's mainly two types of issues that people have with Nicki: her associations and her rants.
I just want to get over the first type of controversies real quick because it's getting tiring. Obviously, her husband has been a big contention with Twitter specifically, and this is a really touchy subject. You know, Nicki and her husband has been accused through a lawsuit of harassing a girl that Kenneth allegedly RA'd, and I feel like it's needed to be mentioned that Nicki was dropped from the lawsuit early 2022 by the other party and was not able to give actual sufficient evidence of Nicki's involvement. So take that as you will. I also feel it's kind of weird that people have never considered the fact that Kenneth Petty, who was around 16 at the time when sentenced with attempted R, maybe was falsely accused and did not have the right resources to defend himself, so he just pleaded guilty, because that has never happened before to a young black man, especially in America. And I'm not trying to say someone is innocent or not, that's for you to decide, but it's kind of weird that Nicki's husband is being used as a drag towards her when she was literally a child when her husband committed the alleged crime and he served his sentence. And the crime that Nicki is accused of, she was dropped from the lawsuit. It wasn't even a criminal offense, it was a civil lawsuit. As Nicki said, they have the two same drags about me and one of them ain't even about me. And most of the people who use her husband as a drag, be fucking for real. You guys never liked Nicki to begin with. Most of you don't hate Nicki Minaj because she married her husband. You guys hate Nicki Minaj just because her husband is just a way for you guys to justify your hate. And don't get me wrong, I feel like it is a valid reason for you not to like Nicki Minaj, especially if you're uncomfortable with that. That's fine. No one is stopping you from not liking Nicki. It's just that most of you guys are inconsistent about this stuff, because one day you'll hate on Nicki Minaj for having the husband that she has, and then the other day you guys are gagging over court outfits over another female rapper who pleaded guilty to having women beat. We'll get to that later. Nicki's brother is also someone who is being brought up when dragging Nicki, which is crazy to me. Like, what does her brother have to do with her? And no, she didn't bail her brother out, it was their mother. She has also been dragged for collabing with people like 6ix9ine, which honestly, this mother's mistake, I can't defend her there. Fifi's a pop though. The most recent person they're saying Nicki is associated to is Dr. Luke, who has producing credits on her most recent hit, Super Freaky Girl. And that's such an easy explanation. The person who actually produced Super Freaky Girl is one of Dr. Luke's artists, and he is known for stealing credits from other producers on songs he thinks are gonna be hits.
The second thing people don't like about Nicki is her rants. Nicki is a very vocal person, whether it is on Queen Radio, on Twitter, on IG Live. Whenever she talks about something that she feels passionate about, obviously she is gonna speak about it in a very passionate way. And with Nicki, that passion turns into a lot of shouting. The reason Nicki is so vocal nowadays compared to her earlier years is because she was biting her tongue a lot back then. She was just getting into the industry. Obviously, she wasn't going to speak ill of big record labels or award shows or industry giants because she was a rookie. Why would she? But now that she's an established veteran who, let's face it, is not going anywhere anytime soon, she's embedded into pop culture now, that inspires onto Nicki confidence that she didn't have back then or was holding back to speak.
Nicki has stated that after years of being silenced and severely affecting her mental health in the process, now she's letting it all out. I mean, everyone knows it's not healthy to keep your feelings in. At some point, you're gonna have to let it out. And Nicki has gotten into a point in her career when she can do it. And we should all be thankful because of it, especially musicians. If Nicki wasn't so vocal about streaming being included in album sales, most of your favorite artists probably wouldn't even reach platinum. Nicki fought for streaming rights and changed the music industry as a whole. She's one of the few artists who constantly calls out the Grammys for their unfair treatment to artists and music politics. And she was absolutely right, considering Super Freaky Girl, one of the biggest rap hits and just biggest hits of 2022 in general, wasn't nominated because apparently it's a pop song. And that's the thing, most of the things that Nicki has said in her rants has been right. And she has been right about so many things. But people don't listen to her because of the way Nicki delivers her message. And yeah, that maybe is on Nicki. But even when she was calm and collected and she was going through a topic point by point, I hear a recent Grammy issues and she went on IG Live to talk about it, she was still not heard. You guys didn't take her seriously just because it was Nicki Minaj. And that's the real issue. Most of the people who don't like her, they cling on to anything Nicki Minaj does and criticizes it. She breathes and you guys find a way to make it Nicki's fault. And again, I'm not saying Nicki's an angel and is innocent all throughout, because she isn't. Her vaccine tweets could have been more responsibly handled. Her going after Leanne from Little Mix was completely unnecessary. Her going after Lotto, well, Lotto deserved it, so I'ma give it to Mother. But honestly, if we compare what Nicki has done to other musicians or rappers who literally have criminal records, have pleaded guilty to crimes, went to prison, you're gonna start to wonder why Nicki's being treated so poorly when you guys have let other people get away with so much. The whole paradox with Nicki being so polarizing is that she's scrutinized for things that male rappers and quite frankly female rappers too do on a daily and get away with. If we want to get real, Nicki has not done anything that bad to warrant her being cancelled the way she has been, especially if you compare her to her peers. The hate Nicki has gotten, you guys would think she was saying and doing the things Kanye has done, but no. You guys hate Nicki for the stupidest reasons. You hate her for being cocky, for saying she's the queen of rap, for doing what a rapper is supposed to do. You guys say she's bitter and hates female rappers, but when she does collab with a female rapper, you guys say she's using her or the female rapper itself will turn on Nicki. Also, if we want to talk about Nicki hanging out with shady people, why hasn't anyone gone after other people who have hung out with Meek Mill? Do you guys only scrutinize people who hang out with abusers of people that you actually like? Because that's how it's looking. You guys are so selective of which people can't hang out with which. In fact, let's go back to when Nicki opened up about what went through with her and Meek Mill during their relationship. I didn't see that side of Twitter defend Nicki the way they have defended other women because they don't like Nicki. It's protect black women unless it's Nicki Minaj. As Nicki said in Barbie Going Bad, whenever I do something they say I'm the angry black woman. And that's true. A lot of people's perception towards Nicki really is based off a stereotype on black women. And I don't think people understand how damaging this narrative is.
This is where Nicki gets compared to Beyonce and Rihanna the most. A lot of people criticize Nicki for the fact that unlike her superstar counterparts, Nicki doesn't act like a superstar. Nicki doesn't act like a superstar. She isn't a mysterious figure like Beyonce or Rihanna. She isn't actively ghosting her fans or silent all the time. When she's online, she's very much accessible. She interacts with her fans all the time. She's very outspoken about things she wants to be outspoken on. And that's why unlike Rihanna or Beyonce, who is virtually loved by everyone, Nicki very much divides people.
I think something people forget is that Nicki didn't grow up in the industry like Beyonce or Rihanna did. Nicki was well in her late 20s before she broke into mainstream. Beyonce and Rihanna, on the other hand, their formative years was spent in the industry. And also another thing, Nicki is not Beyonce or Rihanna. There's no step-by-step procedure on how to be an A-lister, and the fact that Nicki is still an A-lister despite her many controversies show that there is a way to be a legend without being an ominous figure. And Nicki loves interacting with her fans. I don't think Nicki will be happy if she just abandons her fans and talks to them through a website or letters. It works for Beyonce and that's great for her. But Nicki isn't Beyonce. This is why Nicki going on hiatus is so effective, because it is the closest people will get to Nicki being an ominous figure without going full in on being a recluse. It gives people time to breathe and swallow on the fact that they actually miss Nicki. That's why Nicki gets so much love and viral tweets when she's away. And this is a topic I want to expand on in another video, but yeah.
This video is not a propaganda video so you will like Nicki, even though I feel like it is gonna come out like that. It's really not. Because if you don't like Nicki, you just don't like Nicki. I can't force you with this video to like her, and Nicki's gonna be absolutely fine whether people like her or not, because she has gone through an era wherein people hated her and she still came out on top. And I fully understand the concept that Nicki is polarizing and she's just a figure that's so confusing because she has this big catalog of memorable music and iconic pop culture moments, but she also has this other stuff which can be jarring for most. What I want people to take away from this video is not to instantly like Nicki, but rather to analyze why you don't like Nicki. Is it because of a valid reason, or is it because of a narrative that the media has painted based on harmful stereotypes and double standards? And I leave you to that. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I know I've been gone for so long. I know, okay? But yeah, I was just taking a break because honestly, I felt so burned out by YouTube. And sadly, I wasn't able to instantly recover. But now I feel like, I feel like I'm on the right headspace and I feel like I can be consistent with YouTube now. So get ready to see this face a lot more. Also, don't mind my hair. I bleached it, and as you can see, I am not that great at bleaching my hair. It's a mess, okay? So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably go back to black soon. I think I've said this a long time ago, but I am planning to diversify my channel with more topics other than Nicki, and I really am I'm gonna like follow through that plan. So thank you so much for watching today's video again. Yeah, I'm not gonna go away anytime soon, so get used to this face. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and bye.